The following program is a presentation of Prime Sports.
There's only one event in the Evergreen State that could so divide or confuse football families. And yesterday at Husky Stadium, the bickering continued.
Cougs, of course.
What's the score going to be?
Probably 35-3, maybe.
Like
yeah, they might get a field goal.
Well, there's no snow today. How do you expect 35 to 3 dogs?
No, 35-3.
Is that right?
Cougs.
Well, it could be
My
dogs.
favorite Husky.
Yeah, that's my favorite Coug. Yeah, right.
It's Apple Cup 95, and the Huskies have not lost at home to the Cougars since 1985. The Cats and the Dogs fight it out next on Husky Football with Jim Lambright. The Huskies and the Washington State Cougars have gotten together to play football 88 times, and I think you would have to say yesterday's game, one of the most memorable in the series. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Apple Cup show. The Huskies winning yesterday 33-30, winning a Pac-10 co-championship in the process, and also Jim Lambright, maybe best of all, winning a trip to postseason play for the first time in a while.
It certainly does exactly what our seniors and captains were looking forward to. Tremendous excitement by our football team and a great game for the fans.
Looks like the Huskies will be playing in the Sun Bowl in El Paso, Texas for the third time. You wanted the Cotton Bowl, Jim. You're not going to get it, but a bowl trip is what's important, isn't it?
The critical thing for our team at this point is to get the extra practices and to get back into a bowl swing. We campaigned as much as we could. Nothing else you can do. Very pleased with a co-conference championship.
Well, yesterday's game was one of great emotion, big plays throughout, and we look forward to rolling those first quarter highlights after the break. And as we go to the break, why don't we hear from a Husky fan and get his opinion of the Washington State Cougars?
Husky Football with Jim Lambright is brought to you on Prime Sports by your Puget Sound GMC truck dealers, the strength of experience. By Miller Genuine Draft, making the Pac-10 a very cool place. And by Eagle Hardware and Garden, more of everything. You're watching Husky Football with Jim Lambright on Prime Sports.
21 Husky seniors introduced before yesterday's Apple Cup game. There's Leon Neal. He didn't get a chance to play, but was a factor nonetheless. Washington and Washington State getting ready to do it for 1995. Welcome back to Husky Football with Coach Jim Lambright. And the 21 seniors, Jim, they have been through so much, and in a way, yesterday's game was just kind of a microcosm of their careers.
It really was yet a highlight of the careers as far as putting a proper cap on where the seniors have been able to take the program. A national championship early, 2 years of sanctions, back to the bowl game, co-conference championship now, and proper due to them being introduced and to finish up at home the way we did.
All right, enough of the introductions. Let's go to the first quarter highlights now. Washington and Washington State in the 1995 Apple Cup. The Huskies won the toss on a kind of gray day in Seattle. It would get a lot grayer. They deferred to Washington State, and the Cougars were fired up. They would have the football to begin the game, and they started 1st and 10 after you kicked the ball out of bounds on the kickoff, Jim, at their 35-yard line, and we got our first look at this much-touted freshman quarterback, Ryan Leif, and they came out with a running play to Madhu. Good yardage over the right side.
Really did. Showed his strength and speed there on the first play.
Frank Madhu for 13, and now Leif going up top, and a completion to Chad Carpenter, his split end for 9 more. Yeah, tighten it up against the run. Frank Madhu, their senior, 4th leading rusher in the Pac-10 Conference, played that one well.
With Chorick and Jensen both involved in that, and come right back on a nice play by Kaika Malloy coming around the corner there.
Washington State with the ball on its opening possession. This is 4th down and 1, And Rondeau gains 3 yards to keep the drive going. 1st and 10 at the Husky 40 now. A little rollout from Ryan Leif. He's right on the money again.
And he really shows the sort of athlete that he is here. And a nice job faking, set so nicely in the pocket, and a real good throwing motion.
And a main man receiver, Jay Dumas, out of Curtis High School, the senior, making the catch. That was good for 19 yards. Cougars threatening early.
Right, come back to McWashington there for a gain of 4. Reggie Reeser right there.
2nd down and 6 at the Washington 17-yard line. Miguel Merriweather up the middle, and a short gain on the play. Now Leif going back up top. And you get a kind of a close call right here. We're going to see a late flag, and Lawyer Malloy called for holding on the play.
I think it was a good call. He grabbed a hold of his jersey a little bit there, trailing. Really didn't need to. The ball was thrown almost uncatchable, but in that case was called holding anyway.
Carney Adams was the intended receiver. There's Rondeau for 6 to the 1-yard line. They come right back with Kwame Stewart, their bigger back, trying to get in. He did not. It is 3rd and goal at the 1, and this time Mr. Leif calls his own number, and the Cougars take it 65 yards for a touchdown. We'll look again. This guy's 6'5", 228 pounds, Jim, and he was, if you thought he was going to be rattled on that first drive in his first appearance in Husky Stadium, you had to think otherwise, the way that one went.
We sure second-guessed ourselves on that. When our defense came off, it was a matter of, okay, coaches, let's get into the game plan. Now, what did they do? Where do we need now to make corrections and get good feedback from your defense on the sideline?
11 plays on that 65-yard Cougar drive, and Butch says, I like that. The Huskies unable to move on their first series. We move ahead to Washington State's second possession. The Cougars 1st and 15 at their own 34-yard line. And here's Rondeau, and you get a great defensive play.
Great defensive push upfield on the whole left side there, and Akaika Malloy making the tackle for loss, and come right back and have great coverage downfield, and Ryan Leif finds out a little bit about our slippery AstroTurf.
11 yards on the scramble. 3rd down and 10 at the 39-yard line, and another good defensive play here.
And Reggie Reeser, really fine breakup. Nice break on Ryan Leif's throwing motion there.
And that's a good player he's hitting, and Eric Moore, their tight end. So you force the punt, 4th and 10 at the Cougar 39-yard line.
Go back to Dave Janowski back returning, and they're a little too close to him. Get a 5-yard penalty for not giving him enough of a fielding cushion.
Cougars with a 7-0 lead. Huskies about to get the football for the second time after the penalty. 1st and 10, Washington. Huskies begin at their 28-yard line, and Rashawn Sheehy, the start of something very good here.
Right, got to get back to what's been good for us, and Rashawn has been real good, and that offensive line just doing a great job throughout this game.
Not so great on that play. They get you for a loss of 2. It's 3rd down and 7 at the 31-yard line. Damon Heward going to Rashawn Sheehy.
Pick up 7 there, and going to come back with Sheehy again on the carry, and with a little draw action.
This is on 1st down at the 38-yard line. A little draw action and a big play, resulting gain of 12 for Rashawn. Huskies now at midfield, and you go with a little trick play, the flea flicker, and it works splendidly.
It was one of those where you'd love to have Janowski get in the end zone there, but I'll tell you, we were watching from the sideline, and it's always fun to know this play's coming, and Dave Janowski ran such a great route. Both their safeties were up stopping the run, and he had about a 10-yard head start. The ball just hung a little bit, and too bad it couldn't be a touchdown.
Gain of 49 yards. You try the running play on the inside with Terry Holloman.
We had Sheehy out because he hurt his helmet, broke a helmet on that last carry of his.
Well, it didn't take him long to get that fixed, and then he's into the end zone, helmet and all, a 1-yard touchdown, and the Huskies in position to tie the game. You get this one pretty well blocked.
You get a pretty good idea what it's like to be in the trenches there. We got some great lineman push and our tight ends.
Oops. Another of those kicking game faux pas here as you get kind of a bad snap, and it's not going to be tied. 7-6 is the score. Washington State in the first quarter. Huskies with a good drive, though, to get close. 72 yards in 7 plays. Sheehy, the 1-yard run. What happened on the snap?
That was something that, thank goodness, that was the only time it was going to be missnapped, and just a little bit high by Opu, and he gets it corrected.
We move forward here. The Cougars could not move on the next series. Washington 1st and 10, starting at the Cougar 44. Sheehy for 14. Come back at the 30-yard line with Damon going up on top, and the other guys wind up with the football.
Right. Damon threw 2 interceptions in the game, but both of them were going for the end zone, touchdown-type throws, and justified by one great catch by Dave Janoski a little bit later.
Hit the tipped ball. Adeshula Morincola with the interception for Washington State. Break for the Cougs. They retake possession 1st and 10. Coming back the other way from their 20-yard line, Frank Madu to start it off, and Jerry Jensen and company ending it in a hurry.
Right, really good push there. And they're going to come right back with Leif on the pass. Again, you see how well he throws even under pressure.
Boy, and this was a thread-the-needle type pass to David Knuff, their number 2 tight end. You'll see the Huskies are really in pretty good position here. The ball just drops right in between the purple shirts to the guy in white. That's a gain of 18 yards.
Got to congratulate them on that timing. Again, we got so many people upfield in our defensive front that there's nothing on the run.
Madu, loss of 2. Jason Chorick with the play. They come back to Kwame Stewart as we close down in the first quarter here. And that was going to do it. After 1, Washington State with a 7-6 lead on the Washington Huskies. And you have the feeling in the first quarter, Jim, you were struggling a little bit on both sides of the ball.
Really felt that for the whole first half we were going to struggle in this game, just getting our timing down. And the first half was probably reflective of a nervousness by our team. It was a very emotional game for us.
Well, Apple Cups are like that. We'll get to second quarter highlights when we come back with Husky head coach Jim Lambright right after this.
This is great, man. This is so great just to be able to go out as a winner, and then to find out that you're not only won the Apple Cup, you started a new tradition of winning at home, but you're also a Pac-10, co-Pac-10 champion, you know, so it feels great.
You're watching Husky Football with Jim Lambright on Prime Sports.
Welcome back, everyone. Husky history would be made in the second quarter of yesterday's Apple Cup game with Washington State. Let's get to those highlights right now. The Cougars leading 7-6 after the first period at Husky Stadium yesterday. Washington State 3rd down and 9 at the Cougar 40-yard line. And Ryan Leif going to exercise that right arm once more early in the second quarter. Goes out underneath, and the Cougars get a first down completion. And a nice play made by Leif, and Sean Timms did well after the catch.
Right, really showed the good running ability by Jason Chorick on assisting on the tackle.
Here's an interesting play. 2nd down and 9, Cougs at the Washington 49-yard line. Leif going long down the middle of the field, and you are whistled for an interference call here that, frankly, I thought was a dubious call at best, Jim.
We felt pretty much that it should have gone against the Cougars. If there's going to be a call, basically there shouldn't have been a call, but it was their receiver who ran into our defender who had better field position for the ball.
Lawyer Malloy, who would go out with a foot injury not long thereafter, called for the pass interference, and the Cougars with a 1st and 10 at the Husky 34-yard line. They come back with a short run, and now Leif going up top. You get this played really well. Bryant Thomas with the catch, just 2-yard gain.
Right, fine play by Scott Greenlaw, and going to be followed immediately by a sack by Deke Devers.
We'll see it again, and how fitting for one of those seniors playing their last home games. Deke Devers, a Seattle guy, coming around the corner to get the sack. 11-yard loss. The Cougars 4th and 18 at their 42, and George Martin had to punt it away and couldn't keep it out of the end zone. And we talked about the Husky history. Damon Huard, right there, number 7, getting ready to become the leading passer in the history of this school. And here's the play that did it. 3rd down and 9. The Huskies at their 21-yard line. Damon trying to pass Sonny Sixkiller on top. Goes the left flat to Rashawn Sheehy. Does a lot of running to turn this into a 19-yard gain. And Damon Huard becoming the most productive passer again in Husky history, breaking Sixkiller's mark of 5,496 yards.
What a great role he's played in Husky history as far as keeping this team together and really contributing so much in creating big plays and momentum, and great honor to go out and have that ball saved and present it to the all-time leading passer.
Not much happened the rest of the drive. We've got Jeff Prince punting at the Washington 45-yard line. You get a great kick here.
Jeff kicks a ball that bounces well. He's used to kicking in all that Husky Stadium wind.
So you got the Cougars deep in their own end at the 8-yard line. They come out with Frank Rondeau for a gain of 7 yards.
And Lawyer Malloy there and playing his usual role up around the line of scrimmage.
Rondeau for 1, 3rd down and 2 now at the 16, and they get a big gain. Chad Carpenter, the receiver.
Real fine pass and catch, and you sure can't knock Reggie Reeser's field position there. It's for position on the receiver.
It's a gain of 26 yards. 1st and 10. The Cougs push it out to their 42-yard line. And they get a man wide open on the sideline, Knuff, and you saw enough of him on that play.
Sure did. We were in a man-to-man coverage, bringing a little bit of pressure, and we slipped him out of the backfield, and it was really a fine call by them.
Drive started back at the 8. Cougars now at the Husky 28-yard line. They try Rondeau in the middle, and he takes some punishment.
Right. The middle of the defense playing pretty good.
And Leif looking again for Carpenter, and one of the few bad balls the youngster threw all day long. Threw it in behind him. You saw Chad Wolf playing the safety now in place of the injured Lawyer Malloy. Leif going back to the air. Has a man open at the boundary line. That's Jay Dumas again.
Right. Great pass, great catch. Nothing you can do about those on the boundary.
1st and 10 at the 17-yard line. Here's Rondeau, gain of 3 over the left side. Cougars 2nd and 7 at the Washington 14, and they try to run off tackle with Rondeau again, a gain of only 2. But now 3rd down and 5 at your 12-yard line, and who's in the middle? Nobody.
Yeah, they actually caught us on this play. We had a phone go dead from our defensive coaches in the press box, and didn't get a call down at all, and so the players made the call on the field.
You got to get a cell phone to avoid that kind of problem.
Those things every once in a while happen.
The Cougars pushing it to a 14-6 advantage. That is a 92-yard, 10-play, 4-minute drive with Mr. Leif turning over his 2nd touchdown of the day. The Huskies, we pick up now 1st and 10 at the Washington 29-yard line later in the period after both sides failed to move. Damon Hewer to Fred Coleman for 11.
Right, a 2-minute drill here. Comes back to Janowski for 14, and again, it shows how quickly we can move the ball.
There's Damon stepping away from pressure, and I thought you had a touchdown here.
They put a little more air underneath the ball here. You got Rashawn Sheehy down the middle, had outrun the linebacker and was just in great position of just give him a chance to run under it.
2nd and 10 at the Washington State 46-yard line. Throw it out, get the completion to Jerome Pathon for 8 yards.
Who plays just some gigantic roles later on in the game.
Now 3rd and 2 at the Cougar 38 as the Huskies push toward the end of the period. And here's one Damon would like to have back. Great play by the Cougars right here.
It really was a tip ball. Damon would love to have it back, you're right, but this is one of those where it's a real fine athletic play.
That's Brandon Moore tipping the ball, and did he get the feet in? The official said he did. And an alert play by the Cougar linebacker to preserve that 14-6 Washington State lead at halftime. The Huskies struggled a bit in the first quarter, a bit again in the second. And were you nervous going into the locker room, Jim, down by 8 points?
Real concerned about just not smoothly getting stuff together on either side of the ball. The 92-yard drive, critical problem with our defense. Having our free safety out was a problem we had to deal with at halftime, and just had to smooth out the offense.
All right, we'll come back with more with Husky head coach Jim Lambright right after this.
Wow, what a way to leave your last game as a senior. Just all the emotions, just the game. That's what the rivalry's all about. Great, fantastic finishes, big plays, and this is the greatest way as a senior you could leave Husky Stadium with just a big win in the closing seconds. It's an amazing feeling.
You're watching Husky Football with Jim Lambright on Prime Sports.
This season, we had our ups and downs, and everything turned out right. We wanted to be Pac-10 champs, and now we're co-Pac-10 champs, and you can't ask for nothing better.
Feels pretty good. Washington Trailing Washington State 14-6 at halftime in the 1995 Apple Cup game yesterday. And turnovers, we thought Jim Lambright would be a key in this game. The Cougars had been having problems in that regard. The Huskies doing such a good job, and yet at halftime they had the 2 interceptions, and you didn't have any.
Right, and I think the important thing was that in the second half, we didn't give away any. The 2 we gave away in the first half, 1 in the end zone, 1 on the out of bounds right at the end of the half, were almost insignificant as far as creating something for them.
Take a look now at the first half statistics from the Apple Cup game yesterday. As Washington trailed by a score of 14-6, pretty even down the board. They had 2 more first downs than you did. The rushing yards pretty close, passing yards pretty close. Obviously the total yards almost identical, but again, the 2 turnovers. Damon Heward had thrown only 1 interception in the entire Pac-10 season, and here he had 2 in the first half alone. Did that concern you?
No, not the way that it was thrown. The stats, and the important thing about the stats that was going to change was Rashawn Sheehy had 41 yards rushing in the first half, and he's going to end up with 212.
Yeah, he's going to make a big play here before too awfully long when we go to third quarter highlights. And before we do, well, let's take a look at some Husky fans who kept up the spirit despite some weather that was ever more inclement as we got to the second half yesterday. We're back in a minute.
You're watching Husky Football with Jim Lambright on Prime Sports.
I wish I knew. I mean, I want to see a replay of it myself. I think one of the guys was falling. There was double coverage. There was 2 guys there, and he threw it up. And there was 2 guys there, and I think one of them was slipping and falling behind me, and the other guy in front of me got his hand on it, and he had one hand on it, I think, and I just reached over him and grabbed it and took it from him.
Don't worry, Dave. We'll show you plenty of replays of that later on, though. We have some other highlights to show you before we get to a great catch from Dave Janoski. Interesting, when the Huskies and the Cougars went to the locker room yesterday, it was dry at Husky Stadium. When they came out, it was pouring rain. Jim, did you take that as a good or a bad omen?
Oh, our players started cheering right away. Shoot, it's a Husky Stadium. It's not snow and Pullman, so it was like, hey, everything's going to be all right.
14-6, Washington State leading the Huskies at halftime. Let's go to third quarter highlights now of the 1995 Apple Cup game. And you wanted to be in your seat early on. The Huskies had a little problem with the kickoff to start the half, started at their own 8-yard line. You open up with Rashawn Sheehy for 7 yards, and you're going to come back with Rashawn Sheehy for a whole lot more than 7.
Right. You see the play get stuffed up in the middle. He bounces it outside, and then there is no one with enough speed to close on him.
He ran right in front of you. You got to love that.
It was great. We were cheering all the way, the whole bench.
That's an 85-yard touchdown run, surpassing the 80-yard touchdown Rashawn had in the Stanford game earlier this year. And just some great individual effort here, using blocks where he could find them, but a little juke here and there, and hello, sideline.
I'll tell you, just close that sideline off enough, and our players maintain some blocks. And look at Bob Sapp run.
5th longest scoring run in Husky football history.
Eric Battle.
85 yards, and everybody wants to get in the end zone. Now you go for 2 to try to tie the score, and it didn't work.
Yep, got a little confusion on the route, and Damon had someone in his face too quickly.
So the Huskies come out and electrify the Cougars in the crowd. A 92-yard, 2-play drive. Rashawn Sheehy, both plays, 14-12. The Cougars take it over 1st and 10 at their 27-yard line, and this would be a very important series. Madu on the carry for a gain of 1.
Jerry Jensen, Suki Wiggs got a little of the intensity of the game there, and
a lot of the intensity of the game. We had a dead ball personal foul on Frank Madu, and we also had an ejection of Frank Madu. Here is a senior running back, one of the better running backs in the Pac-10 Conference. How important was this?
I'll tell you, it was absolutely critical in this game because you just saw Rashawn Sheehy with what he could do, and all of a sudden Madu swung on a player, threw a punch, and we've gone through that fighting rule, and there's no way they're going to let you get away with that.
Here's a wild play. Cougars got 13 on first down, and then Leif scrambling gets a completion. You're going to get a big hit, boom, right there, and this was just carnage after this play, Jim. You had their receiver slow to get up, but as we look at it again, this was the play in which Washington defensive tackle David Ritchie was injured, and everybody was so frightened as the result. We see the play again. Brian Thomas with the catch, and Jason Chorek with a big
Chorek
pop.
downfield, just great job. And again, having two people down on the field, their player
Ryan
with the knee.
And here's David Ritchie, and right in front of the Husky bench, Jim. This was a neck injury, always scary. And update us on his condition, would you?
David is doing fine today, has all the feeling back, just a little numbness in his left hand. They'll keep him in the hospital till tomorrow morning.
Well, the Cougars also had a holding call on the play after an 11-minute delay, 3rd and 26 at the Washington State 11-yard line. Miguel Merriweather in for the ejected Madu, got 8. They punted away. And we're going to get some pretty good field position out of this.
Yeah, we sure are. Again, what's really important here is that you reestablish momentum now after such a long break in the game.
It was really a scary moment, always is, and we're glad to hear that David Ritchie is doing better. And David, get well soon. Huskies 1st and 10 at their 35-yard line. Sheehy for a gain of 3.
We'll come back, Damon Hewitt to Janoski with another big 39-yard gain.
And a nice move after the catch. What a day David had. 6 catches for 162 yards, 39 of them on this play.
And again, this another example of big play players making things happen in big games.
1st and 10, Huskies at the Washington State 23-yard line. This time the Cougars play Mr. Sheehy pretty well.
They sure do, and we get even worse, a holding call on it.
You get a loss of 2 and a holding call. It doesn't get a lot worse than that. 1st and 21 at the Cougar 34-yard line. You come out to Sheehy in the right flat. This is a play you used a lot yesterday.
With their people dropping off as much as they did, it was really important that we use the flare routes. And here you get a great example of Richard Thomas and the blocking strength of our linemen.
12-yard gain for the Husky senior fullback. 3rd and 8 at the Cougar 21-yard line. You go for the end zone, and they've got this one all covered up.
Yeah, combination of pressure and good coverage, and get a little look at John Wales and his accuracy again.
And how this must have felt to John Wales. A 38-yard field goal. He got it all. This is his longest field goal of the season, and number 18, an obviously happy guy. The Huskies with the lead for the first time, a 44-yard, 6-play drive. John with the field goal. It's 15-14 Washington, and we will move ahead now. Pick up the action, 3:10 to go in the 3rd. 1st and 10, Cougars at their 39-yard line. Leif to Sean Timms for a big 20-yard gain.
And Chad Wolf there for the tackle.
Again, in the absence of Lawyer Malloy, Leif comes back to the other side to Kearney Adams for a gain of 6. The young quarterback feeling it right here. They come back with the run, and a pretty good move by Merriweather.
A couple of missed tackles, and you see what a good athlete Merriweather is.
1st and 10, Cougars at the Washington 30, and they sting you right here. You get a defender falling down, and they got a guy in the end zone.
Yeah.
It's Kearney Adams again, and we'll see on the replay, did he step out of bounds? Not that it matters because it was called a touchdown, but keep an eye on the feet. Right there.
There's one.
Right there.
Another one. And did the ball ever go into the end zone?
Well, whatever. We saw a similar play last week. They put Sheehy out on the 1-inch line. They go for 2, and you get a great play by Leif scrambling around and finding Chad Carpenter for the conversion.
Again, this typical of this game, how it's going to swing back and forth the 3rd and 4th quarters.
61-yard, 4-play drive to conclude the 3rd quarter, and Washington State with a 22-15 lead on the Washington Huskies. And I thought a really good answer drive by the Cougars, Jim, to retake the lead.
It was, and it just builds a momentum for the 4th quarter. And we've taken a lot of pride in being a 4th quarter team, and so many of our games have come down to winning or losing right at the very end.
Well, and this one certainly did. There would be a field goal to win this game at the end. And as we go to break, little trivia question for you. When is the last time the Washington Huskies had a game-winning field goal? All right, when the last time the Huskies won a game in the closing minutes by a field goal? Think about that one. We'll have the answer when we come back. Just to foreshadow the 4th quarter a little bit, we're asking as our Husky trivia question this week, when was the last time the Huskies won a game in the closing minutes by a field goal? Do you remember November 12th, 1988. Cal playing here in Washington. John McCallum hitting from 25 yards out to cap a great comeback. The Huskies beating the Golden Bears 28-27. And we'll see more of the same here in a moment as we get to fourth quarter highlights now. The Apple Cup game between Washington and Washington State. The Cougars leading 22-15 after the third period, and there would be high drama in the fourth, and we picked the Huskies up 1st and 10 at their own 49-yard line. And you went with another exotic play, the handoff to Janoski, thrown up top, and the Cougars weren't fooled at all.
Well, a little reverse action. Tried to get Freddie Coleman open downfield, but Cougars did a real good job setting back. Had a soft zone called and played well over the top of it.
They had the reverse smelled out pretty well and did a nice job in pass coverage too. Probably lucky that one didn't get picked off. 2nd down and 10. Huskies at their 49. There's that little swing pass to Sheehy.
A little good matchup on that and still gain 5.
There's a big play right here, Jim. 3rd down and 5. You're desperate for a conversion and a soft pass and good hands from Cameron Cleland to pick up the first down, a gain of 9.
Right, really critical in this drive that we get 7 points on the board and get there Sheehy on a gain for 3.
Well, they get a pretty nice defensive play, flushing Damon out, and Dwayne Sanders making the play for Washington State. 3rd and 9, another 3rd and long rather here as the quarterback sacked by Sanders and Holmes on the play, but interesting call here. They get a big play, but a face mask, and this really helped keep you alive.
Well, it sure did. Really swung field position back and gives us a chance here. Get a hold again, but again, we're going to end up making the play you have to make.
You were dropping back to pass and saying, well, I think I'll just throw it for the end zone. And I don't know how it happened, but it happened.
It happened because he thinks he can catch anything that ever gets thrown, and as a result, Dave Janoski is one really fine receiver that's just going to go up and get the ball. Period.
Double covered. Brian Walker, number 6, I'm sure thought he had an interception, but he did not. Instead, we have our Husky Genuine Moment, sponsored by Miller Genuine Draft. Damon Hewitt throwing for Dave Janoski. The guy in the middle of the sandwich comes up with the football. Great catch.
Yeah, nice touch on the ball to give Dave a chance to make that play.
Husky Genuine Moment, sponsored by Miller Genuine Draft, and another pretty good moment came shortly thereafter as you go for 2 to try to retake the lead. Nice play there. You had one guy going out to the sideline, threw it underneath.
Right.
Jerome Pathon there.
Pathon. Going to come back with Jerome later on to make one of the big field position moves on a kickoff return.
The Huskies taking the lead back 23-22, and there was great electricity in the stadium in the fourth quarter. 6-play, 51-yard, 2-minute and 45-second drive. The Cougars, though, were not finished. They have a 1st and 10 at their 20-yard line. Merriweather again in place of the ejected Frank Madu, a gain of 2.
Come right back with a pass to McWashington, a little gain of 4, Aliaga and Malloy right there.
And here's a big play coming off the corner. You got him from the backside. He was tough to get, but Scott Greenlaw making the play.
Right, little corner blitz coming in, and
Lawyer Malloy calling for noise on the sideline in street clothes with the injured foot, and he was fired up about this play from your senior cornerback.
He sure was, and he's just a lot like Leon Neal. We've got great leadership and great enthusiasm on the team.
Cougars have to punt it away, and again, Mr. Janoski doing his thing, and this was just a shame. This is a terrific return, and you had an infraction on the play, Jim, and deprived him of a great return and great field position. You get a holding call.
Right. It just absolutely kills you when your special teams are working so well for you.
Well, it didn't absolutely kill you, as it turned out. 1st and 10, Huskies still starting at the Cougar 44-yard line. Sheehy for 2.
Tried to get the ball to Freddie Coleman, a little overthrown by Damon there.
3rd down and 8. Boy, you had a lot of 3rd and longs yesterday. And here's Cameron Cleland making another big play.
Yeah. And really critical run after the play that allowed us to pick up the first down.
At the Cougar 31-yard line, Sheehy around the right side for a gain of 6.
A really nice mix of run and pass. Try to go back to Dave Janoski and just not the correct timing on it.
3rd down and 4 at the 25-yard line. And here's Rashawn again. What a huge day he had. 212 yards for the day.
Not real easy tackling him there. He causes a couple of 2-3 of them to miss.
Huskies at the Cougar 19-yard line. Another good gain on first down. The Sheehy show once again for 6.
The fun thing here was he's going to take it again, and every time he just kept turning to the bench and pointing to himself, hey, give it to me one more time.
Gain of 9, first and goal at the 4-yard line. Give it to him one more time and let him put it in the end zone one more time.
And again, you go right back and take a look at those big linemen, giving him a great opportunity to run.
Third touchdown of the day for Sheehy, 15th of the season, and that breaks the Husky single-season rushing touchdown record of 14 held by Napoleon Kaufman in 1993. A great day for Rashawn Sheehy. And here, you get an extra point, barely, but John Wales, maybe things had turned around for him with the first field goal. He kind of hooked that one, but got it through, and you're on top by 8 points and feeling pretty good. A 9-play, 44-yard, 3.5-minute drive.
And the nice thing there, even on that extra point, was the confidence and timing of John Wales, even with a shaky hold and snap.
Huskies ahead 30-22. Cougars with the ball. They start at their own 20-yard line. A running play for 2, and now Jay Dumas for 13.
Scott Greenlaw there, come right back from the pass again. Got Steve Hoffman back.
This was a great drive by Washington State. In your eyes, though, a drive that ate up too much ground too quickly.
It sure did, and all of a sudden they're mixing run and pass real well, and you see the missed tackles here. And again, so much credit to have to go to their runner, but defensively, this is where we need big plays and great tackling.
Miguel Merriweather, one of the young players on this Cougar roster, and give him some credit too. He made a terrific run.
He sure did, and again, the number of tackles. Defensive players leaving their feet and losing leverage on the ball carrier that you just can't do when you're playing good defense.
This is a gain of 44 yards for Merriweather. And Cougars first and goal at the Washington 8-yard line. Kwame Stewart, big guy at almost 230 pounds, 4-yard gain.
Right. Aliaga, one of the ones there on the tackle.
Second and goal at the 4. They come back with Merriweather, and he puts the ball in the end zone. And boy, that drive had to hurt if you're a defensive lover, as I know you are, Jim. The Cougars just munched it down the field, and they'll go for 2 now to try to tie the score. And this was pretty easy, too.
Yeah, they did a really good job. We were guessing they're going to run some crossing routes and play in a soft zone on that extra point play. And again, it was a good play by them.
And here's a good play by you on the ensuing kickoff as we're getting down to crunch time in the fourth quarter. Jerome Pathon started left, goes back right, and finds a lot of room.
Well, I'll tell you, some nice people blocking out in front of him there. Just gives us the field position that we need now to get this next drive started, so we're able to stay in the game and have a chance to kick that winning field goal.
You think they might onside kick in this situation, Jim? You had your hands team on the field.
We thought they would come up with a different kick, one that would be harder for us to handle, and so the best guess was to put your hands team in, and Al Levan runs that part of our kicking game.
Well, you get a big run here from Sheehy, 21-yard gain as you started at the Cougar 46-yard line. Huskies getting the ball with just over 2 minutes to play. Now Damon comes back. Jerome Pathon again.
Again, the combination of those 2 plays, and we're right back in field goal range.
35 yards in 2 plays. You go for the end zone to Coleman, almost, but not quite.
And the thing here with Bill Dietrich and myself was let's throw safe passes and let's set up the touchdown or the field goal by good play selection.
Sheehy getting close here. You could have made a first down, but here's John Wales lining up for the game-winning field goal, and this one was muddy from the start. You got a great snap, a perfect hold, and a very happy place kicker.
It was the perfect snap. Shane Fortney got the ball down. Opu got it to him great, and John hit it just right straight through the uprights.
21-yard game-winning field goal for John Wales, who was just as happy as he could be, and I'm sure a lot of those folks in the stands felt the same way. The Huskies on top 33-30, 6 plays, 42 yards, just 1 minute and 15 seconds, but there was still time left. The Cougars got the ball back with about a minute to play, and Leif came out throwing. There's Jay Dumas again finding some space, but also some difficult footing.
Right now, it was important just not to give them the big play, to play back enough so that they weren't getting the 20, 30-yard gain and make them earn it underneath. Throwing crossing routes, quick out routes, things that weren't going to put them in field position immediately.
Leif to Dumas. This was broken up by Tony Parrish on a good play. 3rd down and 10 for the Cougars at their 20-yard line. Kid just kept winging it. There's a first down. Jay Dumas once again.
But again, that clock's running down, and they need some sort of a big play to really get them down fast.
Ryan Leif would have a big day throwing the football. He was 22 of 33 for 291 yards. Cougars go with a hook and lateral play here. A good play, but as we look again, we're going to see that lateral was very much forward. It wasn't really even a difficult call, 2-3 yards on the play. Merriweather took the lateral, but forward and loss of down, and now the Cougars were really up against it. 3rd down and 2 at their 39-yard line, and this would just about do it. Leif throwing long down the sideline. Tony Parrish just letting the ball fall harmlessly to the turf, and the clock went down to double zeros thereafter, and one of the more exciting games, certainly of the season, and certainly of this rivalry coming to a close. The Huskies defeating Washington State 33-30, and who's that getting a little shoulder ride right there?
Yeah, got the ice bucket down the back and the shoulder ride, and just a tremendously emotional team room afterwards. A tremendous win for our team.
Are you nervous at all? The Cougars got the ball back, had about a minute to play. That previous drive, they went so well down the field.
I'll tell you, being an ex-defensive coach, those moments scare you to death. They move the ball so fast.
Let's take a look at the final statistics from Washington's 3-point Apple Cup victory over Washington State. Some big numbers in this game, a huge second half for both teams. You look down at the total yardage, 411 for them, almost 500 for you. The turnovers you mentioned, Jim, at the half. You had the 2 before halftime, none in the second half. You got the time of possession a little more equated between the two teams, but a lot of offense, a lot of scoring, and I'll tell you what, a lot of fun yesterday.
It really was. It was a great game for us to end with and to use as a vaulting point now for getting ready for a bowl game.
Let's go back and relive that drive that won the game. It is our Puget Sound GMC Truck Dealers drive of the game. And what better one than the last one? Saving the best for last. The drive of the game started at the Cougar 46-yard line after Pathon's kickoff return. Rashawn Sheehy had a 21-yard run on first down, a 14-yard pass to Jerome Pathon, and a 4-yard run from Richard Thomas. And then one of the great moments of the season, there was justice after all for one John Wales, putting through the 21-yard field goal to cap off that great drive, our Puget Sound GMC Truck Dealers drive of the game. And I'll see John Wales happy like that for a long time, I am sure. I couldn't be more pleased for the young man to get the chance, Jim, to atone for some earlier problems in the season. It was great.
I'll tell you, it's a beautiful thing about a team sport, and about the commitment and the hard work ethic of John Wales, and the combination of Opu to Shane Fortney and John finishing it off.
All right, we'll talk about the other Pac-10 scores yesterday. We'll look at the bowl picture, and as we go to break, let's hear from the happiest guy at Husky Stadium after the Apple Cup won by Washington.
Oh yeah, I mean, I took off running out the sideline. I don't think I ever run that fast before in my life, but it's sweet redemption. You know, it gets the monkey off your back, you know, completely now.
Husky Football with Jim Lambright was brought to you on Prime Sports by your Puget Sound GMC Truck Dealers, the strength of experience. By Miller Genuine Draft, making the Pac-10 a very cool place. And by Eagle Hardware and Garden, more of everything.
The bowl invitations are not yet official for the most part, but it does look like the Washington Huskies, after yesterday's Apple Cup win against Washington State, are headed for El Paso, Texas, and the December 29th Sun Bowl. And Jim, what are your thoughts about that? Looks like a Big Ten team on the other side. Maybe Michigan State is the team that we've heard about.
It looks like a real nice matchup to me. the Big Ten still having one game to play, we could end up with Iowa, Michigan State, as you mentioned, Michigan, Penn State. It will take any one of those just a chance to get there and play.
There will be 4 teams for sure and maybe 5 teams in the Pac-10 competing in bowl games this season. Let's look at yesterday's scores and talk about some of those teams. Oregon headed for the Cotton Bowl with a narrow win over Oregon State. Stanford might get a Lesser Bowl invitation after beating California in the big game in the Bay Area. And UCLA upset Southern Cal, the 5th straight win for the Bruins over the Trojans. Both of these teams will go bowling. UCLA going to the Aloha Bowl Christmas Day in Honolulu. Southern Cal, you would have to say, limping into the Rose Bowl against either Ohio State or Northwestern. Looks like Arizona State, the hottest team in the league at the moment, along with the Huskies, going to stay home for the holidays and play Arizona next week. Washington, co-champions of the Pac-10, along with Southern Cal, with records of 6-1-1 in the league. And I guess, Jim, in a way, it's too bad that a co-champion in a league winds up in one of the lower bowls like the Sun Bowl, and that's where you're going to go.
That's one of the unique little quirks of the way the bowl organization worked out. And for our team, for the seniors, for the captains, we just need to be highlighted because of what they've done to keep the program together and to show that, hey, we really are a good football team that can go play in any bowl and play well and play good enough to win, and as we did all season long, get a little bit better and have a chance against a really fine Big Ten opponent.
All right, Jim, it was a great season. The home schedule was unbelievable. 6 terrific games. Enjoyed working with you as always, and good luck in the Sun Bowl. I hope you win it.
Hey, thanks, Bob. It's going to be a great experience.
As we go away tonight, we're going to credit some of the people who did a lot of work behind the scenes on this program. Thank you for being with us all season long, and what do you say we see you in El Paso, Texas, December 29th. Good night, everybody.